Hello, good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to this special webinar session on future of aluminium downstream industry. Before starting this session, I would like to briefly introduce you to Asian Metallurgy Show and then coming to the topic of this webinar. So Asian Metallurgy was started as a ground show. Until COVID, it was a bi-yearly exhibition we used to conduct in first Nehru Center first few years and then to BEC Goregaon, and it was coupled with the conference as well. So after COVID, we transformed all our activities or all our events like conferences, exhibitions on digital platform. And so after COVID, this event became a yearly event. Every December we do this, and it is a digital event. It comprises of a webinar series which started on 8th of December this year and will continue till 13th with different topics like today's topic, aluminium. Then we had one on sponge iron, one on decarbonization. We are going to have one on digitalization and AI. We had one on auto industry, which is customer industry for metallurgical industry. So like that, we are trying to cover as many subjects in the umbrella of metallurgical domain. So coming to and the digital exhibition will start from 15th of December and it will continue for a long time. So coming to the subject of this webinar is the future of aluminum downstream industry. It is very, as we say that metallurgy is the mother of all industries. And in metallurgy, the metals like steel, aluminum are extremely important for many industries because many industries are dependent on inputs from these industries. Aluminum is of course called as the metal of 21st century. So a lot of applications for aluminum coming up, developing aluminum and aluminum alloys in these generations. And so is the downstream industries because the primary aluminum is processed in the downstream industry, and then applications are there in various other industries. So talking about the aluminum downstream industry, we have experts who are the expert panelists, and I would like to welcome these experts to this webinar. First, I would like to welcome Mr. Rajat Agrawal. Rajat Agrawal is, as all of you know, is MD of Boruca Extrusions and is considered to be a veteran in this industry. Welcome, Mr. Rajat, and thanks
Good
for sparing
afternoon.
your time and sharing your insights with us.
Sure,
Thank you.
sure. Thank you so much.
Then we have Mr. S.M. Kulkarni. S.M. Kulkarni has been with Hindalco and he was, in fact, Chief Technology Officer of Hindalco. Now he is a freelance consultant and associated with many industries and working in many domains like aluminum, like rare earths, like digitalization, like that. So he has a vast experience and a vast umbrella of subjects. So welcome, Mr. Kulkarni, and thanks for sparing your time with us. Mr. Kulkarni is also on the editorial board of Metalworld, so he is our person. Thank you, Mr. Kulkarni, for sparing your time. And we also have Mr. Rajiv Parulekar.
Thank you.
Rajiv Parulekar, he's again ex-Hindalco, has spent many years in Hindalco, and now he is working, he's consultant and doing consultancy in the field of downstream industries only, downstream aluminum industries like extrusion, like flat rolled products. So welcome, Mr. Parulekar, for being with us and sparing your time. So let's start with the subject, the future of downstream industry, aluminum industries. I can broadly divide this subject in two areas. One is the technological status as far as technology, what is the status as far as technology is concerned, and the other is market expansion. So let us start with the technological status first, and I would like to ask Mr. Rajat. Rajatji, what is the status in general on the technology front in extrusion industry? What do you see around in India? I am specifically talking about Indian extrusion industry. Mr. Rajat.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you once again. And I will try and do my best to answer questions and discuss openly. And I'm no expert. I'm also in the process of learning. So the status of the technological situation that I have witnessed personally since I've been in this industry for the last 20 odd years is that currently in India, of course, there are this can be looked at two categories, right? One where technology is available but not being utilized or invested by the Indian extruders. One where we are aware of the technology, but it is not yet available in India, right? So these are two separate categories. And of course, for the second category where technology is available somewhere but not yet in India, we can always import it and install it and or utilize it. But that has its challenges, right? Challenges of training, challenges of funding, and government intervention is required in terms of import tariffs or other issues, right? And the first, which I mentioned, where technology is available in India and it is available to the industry to be utilized. There, of course, we have certain challenges such as, again, training and development. Not really challenges, but certain things that needs to be taken care of, right? Whether it is training and development, whether it is having the people, a ready stream of people available who can understand the technology and use the technology. So, for example, in our experience, we consistently now receive inquiries from certain so-called sunrise sectors, such as EV batteries, or let's say renewables, right? Or automotive, which is going into heavy aluminization, right? Catering to these sectors require certain special equipment or special machinery or special know-how, which is where I think we face challenges. One is we might not know what is the right equipment or the right know-how or the right talent to install and run, this kind of equipment. And the second is, of course, also support from the other industrial bodies. So I think if you ask me in a nutshell, I would say we are fair, to give one word. I would not say we are bad or worse or great or very good. The current status of the technological adaptation in India, I would say, is fair, and there's a lot of room to improvement. And forums like this and collaboration with other industry bodies and educational institutions and government should help us.
Thank you, Mr. Rajat. You used a very good term, aluminization. I like that term. In fact, I can say that even auto industry is going through what you say as aluminization, because a lot of engine parts are which are conventionally made by steel are being replaced by aluminum.
Yeah.
So that aluminization is in process. So, Mr. Kulkarni, what is your take on this? Not aluminization as such, the overall. Your first comments and the technology front of the extrusion or downstream industry.
Right. See, if you look at the rate at which downstream aluminum industry is growing, it is one of the highest growth rates in terms of CAGR. At the same time, the same old conventional applications are not going to build up this demand. The demand is coming, as Rajat said, from the sunrise sectors. And the requirements of these sectors, whether it is auto, EV, batteries, these are something we are not totally aware of. In fact, the specifications of many of the products required by these industries are not necessarily fully defined, or they are public domain. For example, what the extent of aluminization in EV, you take Tesla, is high. But what the way they are trying to utilize aluminum, either as components or as the whole body casting, we don't have that technology, or we don't even know the specifications to which Tesla accept. What little we know tells very clearly that the specifications are going to be much tighter than what we are used to as a country. Now, how do we solve this as a technical problem? We'll have to adopt way of measuring quality online, whether it is for the input, whether it is for the in-process material, whether it is for the final product. And that requires adopting technologies like sensors, like ultrasonic testing, like material composition testing in line, ensuring the degree of mixing required to get the composition right throughout. I can give an example. Casting that Tesla does for the whole body, for the two parts of the body that they cast. It is simply a large-scale version of small-scale casting. But the scale leads to many problems, like the cooling rate requirement to ensure uniformity of quality. It's something that can't be achieved or that can't be predicted easily using the present model. So we'll have to go for newer models, newer computer simulations to ensure that we get the quality right. If we don't get that quality right, there are surface defects, there are whole body defects, and then there are rejections. Now, this is something to start with. We'll have to learn what the specifications are. We'll have to define the technology, measurement, and control by which this will be reached. The other two applications which we did not discuss and which are gradually opening up, space and defense. In both these, the amount of aluminium is going up, and the specifications which are followed in space are much stricter than normal auto also. Therefore, the problem that we are facing is, number one, is the scale of operation is going to be much bigger. The technology that we require to reach that scale is bigger. The scale, for example, large scale cast. You know today what the technology of large scale casting that Tesla adopted, Hyundai, Toyota, these, and I think Volvo, they are adopting these technologies only now, so many years after Tesla adopted it. And therefore, there's a learning curve that will have to be adopted. If we want to catch on to these opportunities of aluminization in auto, defense, EV, this adaptation of the technology through learning is unavoidable. We'll have to learn these. There are other problems to which I will come a bit later.
Sir, I just on the subject, you mentioned space as the emerging market or emerging application area for downstream products of aluminum. So I believe it is not plain aluminum; it is mostly aluminum alloys, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So that also I wanted to ask whether it is we are are we using higher alloys of aluminum or what is that? Or is it plain aluminum? I'm sure it is not plain aluminum.
No.
So Mr. Kulkarni?
Yeah, it is obvious.
So that upgradation is also required in the industry. That metallurgical upgradation, I would
So
say.
obvious, you are getting me? It is obviously not either. Yeah, it will involve metallurgy, crystallization technology, and casting technology, all of them. One of the simple requirements that everybody demands, forget your rolling, extrusion, etc. You require high quality billets. Now, making these high quality billets of the right composition itself is the technology we'll have to learn. While in Indar, try to do it to some extent using Almex, and the scale still remained relatively small. But the way at which aerospace, both aero and space are growing, we'll have to learn to have large scale billet making with quality.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the things that, for example, company adopted was when you go for billet casting, you check each billet for quality, and those which are superior quality, divert them for the space application. Now, this is not the right method if we want to become successful consistently. Because what it means is we are selective in terms of where we get good quality, we will divert. If we don't get that quality, we'll use it for domestic or low grade application. Now, getting the consistency of quality is important, and therefore rejections which can come can use in domestic application. It is not a choice that we should go
Okay, okay.
of working where we are right every time. And that requires control technology, that requires online correction and things like that.
Yeah, sir, your voice is breaking.
And
In any case,
one of
yeah,
the
we
fast
got the point.
batteries.
We got the point. I would like to go to Mr. Rajiv.
Yeah.
Mr. Parulekar, what is your take on this
Yes.
technology side and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
alloying side also?
Correct.
Please, please.
I means after working for 31 years with Hindalco and another 3 years post-retirement, and after going through the two exhibitions, one at Delhi of Alumex and
Yeah,
one
yeah.
at ZAC Expo, I found that the extruders have definitely advanced with their machineries compared to last 10, 15 or 20 years. And now by looking at their outputs or the extrusions that they are showcasing at the exhibitions, we
Yeah.
found that they have upgraded their machines and
Okay.
lot of extruders, even when we were thinking that these are compared to Hindalco and Jindal, they were small extruders. They have come up with good technologies and extrusions available with them have the good technology. However, in case of metallurgy, very few extruders have that metallurgical backup with them. No doubt some of them are also getting what Mr. Kulkarni said, are getting the billets from Hindalco Almex from Aurangabad also, and trying to catch up with the aerospace or defense requirements apart from the ISRO and other government organizations. So they are also catching up, but to run those billets of 7,000 series or so high alloys on their machines, you require those advanced machines.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that they have upgraded themselves.
That is a very heartening.
Yes, some of the extruders, they have added the press with first time in India 20-inch container size, which they have exporting to Tesla also, to aerospace industry also, to defense also.
Very good.
I
Very
think others will also try to catch up in that fashion.
good.
But what we are discussing is upgradation of the machinery, maybe upgradation of the some alloys, but not that uh, big requirement which our aerospace industry or our defense industry is looking for. So people like Hindalco, Jindal, or even Boruka, who specialize in some applications, they have to catch up very fast as the Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat or so, that these terms are becoming very popular and we want to do everything in-house in India only. So if at least couple of extruders with the help of say Hindalco Almex or so, if they catch up with the final requirement of the extrusions, and as we know that the even the HAL is coming up with the aeroplanes, commercial aeroplanes, apart from their
Yes,
defense
yes.
Tejas and others. So aerospace industry will grow like anything within next 5 years. So we have to be ready. Indian extruders have to be ready to meet their requirements, and we will not allow imports to happen. And we will try to supply them as much as possible through India only.
Yeah, I can understand. There is a tremendous pressure from the customer industry as well. As far as construction industry is concerned, you don't have to only supply extrusions. They have to be aesthetic and they have to be attractive and all that. So there is tremendous, pressure, back pressure from the customers as far as quality and finish and all these things are concerned. Yes, Mr. Rajat. Now I would like to talk about something about marketing. How are we? How is the market expanding? you are running an extrusion company, you know better what is your product profile and which are the industries you are targeting, which are the industries you feel are growing, which are the industries you feel are may not be tomorrow, but day after tomorrow they will be right. What is your take on this? What is your thinking?
Sure. Before I answer that, just as a side note, as Mr. Kulkarni and Mr. Parulekar were discussing,
Hmm.
the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, ISRO has now tied up with the division of Balco to install a special casting unit for space grade alloys in India now.
Great. Yeah.
So I don't know if most of the panelists or others attending this have read the latest vision document which the Government of India Ministry of Mines has released. It's called Vision 2047, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
And I would strongly suggest that everyone watching this, it's available for free on the internet. Um, they should really download and look at the Aluminium Vision 2047 document released by the
Hmm.
Ministry of Mines.
Hmm.
And one of the key points that this document makes is the point of declaring aluminium as a core sector, which
Okay.
has not happened up until now in India. But
Hmm.
as I understand, in other countries, especially US and China, aluminium is one of the core sectors.
Yes. Yes.
So I think, if the Government of India and Ministry of Mines can declare aluminium as a core sector, many avenues of funding, technological collaboration, market optimization, right? All of these things will start opening up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So coming to your, yeah, please,
Yes.
if you have
Yes.
something.
Now my question.
Yeah. Coming to your specific question, I will answer it in two parts. First, I will answer it only for Bharuka because Bharuka, 80% of our business is centered around building and construction,
Okay.
right? Especially now, once we became part of the YKK AP group, which operates across 28 regions in the world. So
Mhm.
YKK AP is an architectural product company. So as a result, in India, within the building and construction segment, of course, 64% of the extrusions that India is consuming currently is going in the building and construction segment, as most of us already know. And within this segment, there are certain interesting patterns, right? So one is, of course, the residential segment, and one is the commercial segment, right? Now, again, within building and construction, 60% of consumption happens in the door and window space,
Okay. Okay.
right? Currently. I might be off by a few percentage, 2,
It's
3%
okay.
here and there.
Yeah.
But overall, 60% of consumption currently happens in the doors and windows space, right? Now, again, in the door and window space, there is a lot of, like you rightly mentioned, there is a lot of demand from the customers in terms of better quality, which, right? So when I say better quality, it means two main things, right? One is, of course, the aesthetics, like you said, better surface finish, right? Whether it is anodizing or powder coating, choice of colors,
Yeah.
right? So the aesthetic visual appeal. And the second is the ease of operability, right? Like how easy it is to operate the window. Is it tight? Is it closing properly? Once I close the window, is sound coming in? If it rains heavily or if the wind is blowing heavily, can I hear a whistle sound? Like I used to live in Bangalore for about 10 years at a very reputed developer's apartment. And every time it rained, the living room got wet. Right. So things like that now people are not accepting, like you
Yes.
rightly said, right?
Yes.
So there we again have a lot of system companies coming in, and luckily the government of India through the BIS regulation has become very stringent in terms of launching standards for doors and windows and performance.
Mhm.
So residential space will also continue to grow and continue to grow for value added products because the people who are now living in these apartments are demanding
Mhm.
value. It is aspirational, right? So that is one very good sector that everybody can look towards. Then, of course, urbanization, all of that will play a role, right? Nuclear families, more and more nuclear families and social trends and all of that. The other within building and construction, other is the commercial segment, right? Where you do the facades, your
Hmm.
curtain wall, unitized, semi-unitized, stick, all of that. That is getting a big boost in India as of now due to two main reasons. One, the e-commerce space, right? There are new warehouses being built almost daily because of the explosion the e-commerce companies like Amazon or Flipkart or Meesho now, for example, right? Or direct to consumer brands are that are having, and most of them are going public in the last 3 months with billion-dollar valuation. So
Right.
e-commerce is a great sector to look at. And the second, like I said, is called GCCs, right? Which is your global capability centers.
Okay.
So India is the largest market for GCCs today, where multinational companies across US, Europe, and even other Asian economies are now setting up global capability centers in India, which means like Amazon would open up a GCC
Something
in
like
India.
data centers or something?
Data centers. So data center is different from GCC, but data center is also a huge market which is exploding,
Yeah.
right? But GCC is called a global capability center, which is, for example, in Bangalore, near the Devanhalli airport, Boeing has opened a R&D office, right? Collins has opened a research and business process outsourcing office. Because of the population we have, the age of their population and the educational qualification of their population, we have young people who have, I mean, the maximum number of engineering degrees. So these GCCs are the biggest thing driving the commercial building space in the building and construction sector. Right.
Okay.
And of course, other sectors, like you said, in the market, so BNC has a CAGR of 10% up to 2035.
Oh.
Automotive has a CAGR of 8% up to 2035, right? So, of course, other sectors such as automotive, transportation, like Mr. Kulkarni mentioned, space, right? New sectors of defense, like Mr. Parolekar mentioned, all of this is there. But of course, the two big ones are going to be building construction, of course, and the second is transportation. So when I say transportation, it covers your auto, covers metro, covers your rolling stock, covers your EV. So, and the third is your renewables.
Yeah, of course. Mr. Kulkarni, what is your take? You were talking about space and defense and also railways. Railways should not be ignored as well. So,
Railway, metros.
yeah, metro. Yeah, definitely he mentioned. So, what is your take on this market
Railways and
development
metro
or
infrastructure, which
market
is going
expansion?
up. Yeah. Correct.
Sir, your Wi-Fi,
So
there is some
that is an
issue with your
opportunity.
Wi-Fi, sir.
Yeah. Basically, what we see today is a dichotomy. We see that the demand and domestically are both going up. And on the other hand, global markets, you have this problem that there is demand, but there is political pressure, which, and that is something which is hurting the industry. It is likely to hurt the industry unless the problem gets resolved in a reasonable time. Unlike countries, the Southeast Asian countries, or like Middle East countries, which are getting into aluminium production, aluminium downstream production, India is fortunate that we don't depend upon export as a major consumption. And therefore, capacity upgradation, these have to be done for domestic consumer requirement as well. Now, how we do it, whether it is through CapEx, whether it is through indigenous technology development, that has to be seen. And that is something which will have to be addressed as a part of the strategy and policy both. It has so far not happened. For example, I just mentioned that you have to use a large number of sensors to ensure that your quality is measured online and it is corrected online. Now, the first is now put a number of sensors and know the. Now, the conventional way of doing it nowadays is using a digital twin. For extruders, for rolling mills, people are running in parallel with the machine, they run a digital twin, and all the inputs that you get, all the sensor outputs are put into the model so that you know whether the product is going to meet the quality or not meet quality ahead of time. Now, to date, we don't have a single foolproof digital model for extruders or for rolling mills, for that matter, for even casting and forging lines. Now, these are things which can be done using our indigenous available capability institutes, and which should be done and which should be provided. Yeah. Hello.
I think your voice is not, it is breaking, sir. I'll go to Mr. Parulekar.
Yeah,
Mr. Parulekar, what is your take on this? About, let me again ask you, the market expansion. What is the,
correct.
which are the emerging markets? As Rajatji also mentioned, what is your take on that? And do you see any other emerging market?
Yeah.
What about exports? Mr. Kulkarni mentioned that we don't have much bigger export basket. But why are we not exporting? And in fact, we are importing, as I know, we are importing a lot of extrusion of big size. So, what is that? Is there a mismatch between the production profile and the requirement in the market? I would like you to comment, and also Mr. Rajatji, you also comment on this. Is there a mismatch? Because why are we importing large size extrusions? There is no capability. Mr. Purvekar, please.
Yeah. As you mentioned about the import of large size extrusions, uh, hardly in India 20-inch one press, maybe 14-inch container, one or two presses are available. So definitely when we want to go ahead with the large size extrusions, the end application can be anything in defense, maybe in metro rails or other applications. We have to import them unless and until the bigger size container extrusion presses are available in India. That is one of the reasons. Second reason, as far as the market is concerned and the growth drivers, we can say we have discussed a lot about the extrusions, but let me touch some of the key segments of the FRP products also.
Please.
Yeah. So packaging is one segment which is going very fast. In packaging, we can divide it into two parts. One is cans, beverage cans, which are growing very fast, but hardly two beverage can manufacturers are there in India. And the suppliers to beverage can manufacturers is limited only at present, only one company, Hindalco, is supplying. So balance, they have to import it from outside. So there is a large scope or big scope, we can say, to supply at least for the beverage can manufacturers in India by the Indian flat roll products manufacturers. One. Second is the increase in use of the foil stock or foils through the foil stock. The foils can be used. One is for the application of the pharmaceuticals or industrial applications, and another one is a big usage emerging out is the house foil and SRC, solid rigid containers of the aluminum foils. As we have already banned the plastic, so the requirement or demand for the SRC containers is emerging like anything, and all foil manufacturers, which were earlier only 5, now there are 25 foil manufacturers in India, and all of them are trying to go for the SRC and the fresh wrap like products, like house foil like products manufacturing. So the penetration
just 1 minute. This SRC containers means what? That food containers which
yes.
Same, no?
Same.
Which we bring aluminum foil container.
Yes. Semi-rigid.
Yes. Okay.
So
SRC is what? SRC is what?
Semi-rigid container.
Semi-rigid. SRC. Okay. Great.
So that
Please
is
continue.
emerging, and per month, not less than 12 crore containers are consumed in India.
Oh.
And the end use is only one time. You have to use it once, throw it away.
But then it is recycled, no?
It is recycled. Aluminum, it is recycled.
Yeah.
So it can be considered as a green product.
Yeah, even
But
cans also one time use, no?
yes, yes, cans
Can
also.
is also one time use only.
But the can
All packaging
alloy,
is one time.
oh yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
can alloy is specific, so it will go to the can manufacturing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Whereas these SRC, it can go to the foil manufacturers or
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
other applications also. So that much emerging means usage of aluminium or the increase of usage of aluminium.
yeah, yeah.
So definitely, um, the future for the aluminium in packaging is very bright, and we should consider that. And as our population also is growing, so foils in the pharmaceutical industry is growing like anything, and that is also showing not less than 6 to 8% CAGR growth. And
Mhm.
whereas the SRC and domestic foils are showing not less than 10%
Okay.
CAGR growth
Yeah,
till
that is
2000.
encouraging. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you. It is said, sir, that as the society GDP or nation GDP increases, the usage of aluminium in various form
absolutely.
increases.
Yeah.
So it is we are witnessing all that. Rajat ji, I want to ask you why our international trade company, especially export, is not that much. Is the quality an issue or what is the issue, sir?
I mean, if you look at,
How
you
much you
know,
are exporting, by the way, if I can ask you?
yeah, so I think that is, a good question because it's always better to start at home.
You can pass it.
Yeah.
It is not.
No, 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 of course. So as a percent of our monthly capacity, what we are currently exporting would be around 3%,
Oh,
which is negligible, right?
yes, yes.
And this again goes back to the point of import as well, right? So what are we really importing today? And if you see, where are we importing from, and then where are we exporting, right? So where we are importing from today, the largest, as per the latest Alumni report, is still China and Indonesia, right? And even though there are a lot of trade barriers, or government has now come up with the BIS regulation for IS 1785 and 1868 for extrusions, and there are some import duties, but
Mhm.
China is utilizing other FTA countries to dump
Yes,
zero
yes.
tariff aluminum in
Indirectly to
India,
India. Yes, yes.
right? Similar thing with Indonesia. Indonesia, anyways, I think is part of the FTA.
Mm.
What are the kinds of extrusion mainly coming in? Of course, one, as Mr. Parulekar mentioned earlier, are the large scale, the
That's right.
large CCD
Yeah.
extrusions, because India has maybe 5 presses which are more than 14-inch as of today.
Mm.
Where are these large sizes being used? Primarily in formwork, right? Of course, defense and other areas, but mainly in formwork. And the other area is what we call the third rail, right? So third rail profile, the size is not large, but the cut length required for a single piece is up to 20 to 25 meters.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you require a single cut length of 20 to 25 meters, you automatically need a press with a very long run out table to achieve that cut length without a step joint or or a mark, right?
Yeah.
Those extrusions are again being imported because of the kind of uh, metro network that is being laid across India, right? The third is, of course, the solar segment, where what has happened, most of the large manufacturers of solar panels in India, whether it is MV Solar or Tata Solar or anyone, they have upgraded to fully from semi to fully automated solar panel manufacturing equipment. These equipment require pre-fabricated aluminum extrusions, which can be directly fed into their equipment, right? So for an Indian extruder to first extrude it, then anodize it, then machine it, then give it at a tolerance, these profiles are very, very thin, right? Then give it with perfect straightness, flatness, tolerance is not as simple as it is, as it sounds, right? This is the other thing that is being heavily imported. So
Mm-hmm.
if these are the challenges that we are currently facing, then your question is, why are we not exporting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So exporting happens, of course, when we have something unique, logically speaking, we need to have something unique to offer, right? So our duty structure is also inverted, right? So everything favors importing of finished downstream extrusions, right? And it favors exporting of primary metal, right? But so basically, we are exporting the capital out of the country, right? Instead of exporting value-added products which benefit the
Yeah, that's
country,
what is happening.
we are exporting metal,
Yeah.
right? And we are importing value-added products, thus enriching other countries. So this
Right.
is one of the biggest issues in the Indian aluminum metal industry currently in India, that the duty structure is very inverted and the government policies are favoring export of primary metal and import of downstream value-added extrusions. Right? This is not giving us any room to export. So, of course, we are exporting. I mean, there are a lot of extruders who are exporting thousands and thousands of tons of material,
How
but
much
those are the
percentage
exception.
of extrusion production in India would be exported as of now?
I don't have a number off the top of my head.
No,
Maybe
no,
Mr.
approximately
Parulekar or
around
Mr.
10%. Around 10%.
No, less than 5%.
Yeah,
Less than
yes.
5%. Okay.
Adding to all,
Mm-hmm.
Jindal, Kulka, and many others.
Yeah, and Rajat ji, you mentioned about FTA. I think FTA is also, in most of the cases, I have mentioned this earlier also, that FTA is not done in consultation with the industry, because there are some industries which are going to be, affected by FTAs. Like you mentioned, China is indirectly selling us through FTA countries, like say Thailand or whatever. So, these things also happen. So FTAs, whenever government is making any FTA, they have to consult the affected industry to that extent, which is not happening in my view. I
Yeah.
don't know about your experience, but according to me,
Yeah,
it
and
is not happening.
yeah, and one of the things, that I would like to use this forum to say is, there have been many associations, and there still are many associations, whether it is related to steel or aluminum or other
Yeah.
metals. But I was on the board of most of these associations, either as a founding member or as a presiding president or vice president
Of
in the
course, of
past
course.
couple of years. So my only request to everyone is that please do participate, please do attend the meetings, please do voice your opinion. I know it feels like, there is no point, or there is only short, there is no long term, or maybe the gain is too long term. But we need to come together as an industry and utilize the associations in
Yeah,
India
of
to,
course.
then influence policy. And now there are some new associations that have come up that are very, very active. And I
Yes,
really hope that they continue to be active, for a long
absolutely,
term.
absolutely, absolutely. And Mr. Parulekar, as Rajat ji mentioned, these are the, there are some items which are imported. You think that's an opportunity for domestic extrusion makers?
Of course, if we see,
Isn't it, Rajat ji? Am I right?
absolutely. But
Yeah, sure.
provided the domestic extruders, either existing or upcoming, should be able to actually they should be able to focus on one of the segments, say auto or B&C or defense or aerospace, and they should not become the only extruder in India, but they should become extruder plus value added product addition, something like maybe the drilling, tapping, machining, sub assembly, anodizing, coating, like that, and offer that complete bundle or package to the end segment customer.
Okay,
If many of the extruders they decide to do so, which some of them have already started, we have witnessed that during last two exhibitions, some of the extruders they have integrated themselves. Apart from extrusion, they have integrated to value-added product supplier also, and which has enhanced their not only the market but their profits also. So other extruders or the new upcoming extruders should start doing this, so that the opportunities to replace the imports will be coming very fast, and definitely their focus will be on the import substitution, and which will be successfully implemented, and imports will be reduced, and whereas the domestic suppliers, once they start reducing the imports or replacing the imports, they can also concentrate on the export of value-added products.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That is the opportunity I am seeing.
Yeah, yeah. Kulkarni sir, your take on this, and your last comments also. Let's now, we have almost done 50 minutes now. We have been conversing. So Kulkarni sir, your comment on this, and also the final closing comments, please.
Want to bring up one more. See,
Yeah,
one
please,
of the
please.
important factors.
Your voice is breaking, sir. We cannot hear you now.
Not significant, but it is going to be. Hello.
Yeah. Please,
Yeah.
please continue.
One of the important factors. Now, are you getting me now?
Now we are getting, but intermittently it is breaking, sir. We are not able to hear you continuously.
Hello.
Huh.
Yeah. One of the important things is going to be carbon tax. Now,
Yeah. That is another very important issue. Yes.
implementing carbon tax, there are multiple forms in which it will be imposed. They will start making it active from 2026.
Yes.
Now, what will actually happen, we'll have to see. But imposing carbon tax is going to increase the price of, especially Indian.
Sir, your voice is continuously breaking.
They are based on coal. For the one load that we have for a product, even downstream product sent out of is going to be significant. Something where countries are processing secondary aluminium will have an advantage, or those which are using green energy have an advantage. Actually, already there is a concept of like green steel, and
yes, they will be at the advantage. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Now,
green aluminium will be at the advantage.
Yeah, it is not.
Yeah, sir, we are not able to hear you properly because of the Wi-Fi connectivity is not good. But taking the string, Mr. Rajat, what point he is making is that this green aluminum concept and CBAM is getting implemented from 2026. So exports will become more difficult if at all they are happening. So how are we getting prepared for all these international stringent norms? Basically,
Yeah, this is
yeah.
sure. So this is a very good point because, for example, to give you a few examples and tie certain things that I mentioned, for example, the global capability centers that are coming to India, some of them are from companies like Apple or Google or Microsoft, right? And these companies are mandating that all the material that are used in their projects conform to green certification in some way or another, right? So it all starts with the billet. For example, Vedanta has something called Restora and Restora Ultra, right? Which has a very low carbon footprint. However, that is because most of the energy that they're using to make that, instead of using non-renewable energy, the source of energy is renewable, right? Then we have another company called CMR, right? They are manufacturing 100% recycled billets, right? Here, the source of energy is still non-renewable, but the raw material used to manufacture the billets is 100% recycled, right? So, of course, there is, we need to be very clear in our mind what is the definition of green. Or it could also be a combination of the two, right? Maybe somebody will start manufacturing 100% recycled billet using renewable energy. Then it becomes really, really green. Then, for example, because of the demand from these kind of companies, companies like us we now have ROHS certification, ROC certification, IGBC certification, EPD, which is Environment Product Declaration. We have just started the process of applying. So this is really catching up in India, and being the size of a country that we are, and looking at the demand of aluminium that's going to grow in the next 25 to 30 years in India, almost tripling from where it is today, it is very prudent that we as a country have to embrace a circular economy, right? Because we just, at this scale, we cannot afford to not be circular, right? So the government with JNNARDC is, of course, working very hard to make sure that India moves like China towards a circular economy, and unlike the US, right? Unfortunately, because US imports a lot of primary metal into the country because most of the smelters shut down over the last many years due to energy issues and environmental issues, they are no longer a circular economy, right? But we have an opportunity to change course and make sure that the future, the next 2, 3 decades, are heavily reliant on us being circular.
Yeah. That's the Mr. Parulekar, your take on this?
I think like Rajat has already informed that Vedanta is doing with the green aluminium. Hindalco has also started and working and implementing about the green products like green aluminium billets or so at their Aditya facility. So today or tomorrow, all the major primary manufacturers, they will have to go ahead with the stream, and they have to adopt the green technology or green manufacturing facility for aluminium. And definitely then we will, once it is available at a domestic level, then the downstream product manufacturers, they will be also in line with the requirement of the entire world. And we will be able to service those global, what he has mentioned, the capability centers or so. And we can take it forward from there. So I think we are tuned and in line up with the requirement of the entire world outside.
Mr. Kulkarni, let's try. Earlier your voice was breaking. Now, if it is okay, you can continue your this thing.
I mentioned about aluminum and carbon tax. Are you getting me clear now? I mentioned
temporarily, at
about
least now.
carbon tax. Carbon tax, because that is going to add amount to the cost of aluminium. Now, which has
low bandwidth.
You can close your video and just be, just speak. That can also enhance your voice quality. Let's try that out.
Are you getting it better now?
Yeah, maybe you can try.
The product like car industry, where 200, 250 and kilograms of aluminium are going, that carbon tax will add is going to be significant. And therefore, it requires a holistic approach in terms of manufacturing minimum.
So not
fuel sources shipped.
So we are not able to hear you. It is all breaking. Your
Just
voice
one
is
minute,
breaking, sir.
Hello. Are you getting?
No, I don't think so, sir. We are not getting you, sir. What to do? Anyway, let us have last comments from Parvekar, sir. Last comments, or should we wind up?
I think rather than me, Rajat.
Maybe what is the future in
future,
2-3 lines? What is the future?
Absolutely.
What do you think of the future?
Absolutely. For downstream aluminum products, it is a bright future. And the way it is growing over last 4-5 years or so, especially after the COVID, and many new applications are coming up. And the major point is the domestic industry is trying to cope up with those applications. We wanted to service those applications, and accordingly they are taking actions for the investments or for the service or for the setting up of the new facilities or so. And according to me, within few years, our downstream industry will grow at a required pace, and we should be able to serve all the upcoming or what Rajat has mentioned about the sunrise segments. And from there, it will continue to grow very fast. This
Thank
is
you. Thank you, Mr. Kulkarni.
Thank
Kulkarni sir, can you try? I mean, Kulkarni sir, your last comments, please. You're not able to hear, I think.
Hello.
Anyway, yes, your last comments, please.
Yeah. Are you getting my voice now?
Yeah.
Yes, one sentence at least.
One thing I wanted to suggest was like this. The tensions like tariffs, sanctions will always be there. We'll have to find out a technical solution to some of these. For example, I'll just give an example. One of the major exports of primary aluminum or long products is basically for power transmission.
Okay.
Actually, the single largest percentage of aluminum that is exported to US today, that was exported to US, was for power transmission. Now, cables or wires going from India or from Indonesia or China, they will be similar. And the difference will be created only through tariffs. Can we work on something whereby we can make our product superior, technically superior? For example, now I am suggesting a project that will focus on increasing the conductivity of aluminum by maybe 2%. I am talking only of 2%. Okay, but start a basic project, a fundamental project that will increase the conductivity of aluminum by 2%. Now that 2% actually becomes a few $10,000 per kilometer in transmission. And today in India, today in US, there is a move to upgrade the transmission lines, replace the old transmission lines by new one, high capacity ones, and therefore a product which is differentiated through technology can make a difference.
Okay.
Now, so what I'm suggesting is technology can be used also to create differentiated product so that the buyer will have no choice except coming to you, whether through tariff, with tariff or otherwise. Now, that requires a concerted effort. That requires an effort which involves multiple institutes, manufacturers, and setting up a time-targeted project so that results can be achieved. And I'm talking, this is based on calculations. I'm talking only of 2 to 4% increase in conductivity of aluminum through alloying and other methods, both composition as well as processing. Aluminum as such is a conductive material, but the way we draw wire, the way we draw cables, it involves defects, and that is what leads to loss of conductivity. And therefore, setting up a project to improve our product is important. Now, I am proposing it as a general approach that what can technology do to overcome the tariff-related barriers.
Okay. Thank you. In fact, Rajatji was mentioning to export, we should have something unique. So this can be that unique. So anyway, Rajatji, your last comments, please.
Right.
My last comments are just two things, other than thanking everyone for their time and for giving us this opportunity. One is, as I mentioned earlier, request everyone's support to support all associations and industry bodies
Very right.
and events like this. And second is, as much as possible to increase interaction between educational institutions, research institutions, and the industry. So if all of us can come together and take this forward, it will definitely, and of course, government institutions. So I think government, education, research. And user industry, four of us should work in hand to hand, and then we can definitely propel any industry in India forward.
Thank you. Mr. Kulkarni, your last word, please.
See, my feeling is the present pressures of geopolitical pressures which are affecting the export, those are not going to last. The commercial wisdom has to finally make sense. And therefore, today's time is an opportunity for aluminium, both in domestic terms and in export terms. There are opportunities that have concerted effort and cash on it. If required, invest in world-class facilities. Now, one of the points that I always wanted to mention was when it comes to machinery, we always depend upon imported machinery. And therefore, developing agencies which can make machinery locally is important. And this is also an opportunity which has to be cashed. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And let's take these points from Mr. Rajat said. Everybody has to work together to make this happen, to take the industry forward. And as Mr. Kulkarni also said, this is an opportunity for aluminium. Mr. Parulekar also mentioned the same sentiments. So let's close down on this subject. We had a very absorbing discussion and about the technological front, about the market development, exports, import, and some uniqueness in the exports, as Mr. Rajatji said. And I like this term, aluminization. So a lot of industries are undergoing this aluminization. This is a good sign for aluminum and especially downstream aluminum industry. Thanks very much, Mr. Kulkarni, Mr. Parulekar, and Mr. Agrawal for being with us and making this conversation very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you.